Once positioned as a giant plantation serving a colonial empire, Malaysia, after independence, had a GDP per capita of only about $300. For many decades, the country struggled with a backward agricultural economic model, in which rubber and tin accounted for up to 70% of total export value, leaving the nation's fortunes fragile in the face of fluctuations in global commodity prices. The 1997 financial crisis and the heavy public debt stemming from the 1MDB scandal once led economists to believe that Malaysia would remain trapped in the middle income trap. However, the period 2023 to 2025 witnessed a remarkable transformation, turning Malaysia into Asia's most strategic core, no longer dependent on raw resources. Malaysia surged with a record FDI inflow of 74 billion USD in 2023 and established itself as the world's sixth semiconductor power. By fully leveraging the global AI wave and the NIMP 2030 policy, Malaysia has moved beyond the shadow of a low-end contract manufacturing hub to become an indispensable node for coordinating technology, capital, and data flows on the global economic map. After gaining independence in 1957, Malaysia entered its development path with an economy heavily shaped by colonial legacies. In the late 1950s, agriculture and mining still accounted for about 45 to 50% of GDP, while manufacturing contributed less than 10%. The export structure clearly reflected this dependence, with more than 70% of export earnings coming from primary commodities such as rubber and tin. With GDP per capita of only about $300 and $350 per year, Malaysia at that time, despite political independence, had not yet escaped economic dependence. Change began in the early 1970s when Malaysia proactively shifted toward an export-oriented industrialization strategy. The establishment of a free trade zone in Penang in 1972 marked its first integration into the global production network. That same year, Intel opened an assembly and testing plant, initiating a wave of investment by international electrical and electronics corporations. Although most activities were concentrated in low value-added contract manufacturing, this process enabled Malaysia to access technology, international production standards, and modern management practices. By 1980, electrical and electronics accounted for about 20% of total FDI, and the industrial workforce in Penang increased from 30,000 to more than 100,000 in less than a decade. On that foundation, from the early 1980s, Malaysia continued to upgrade its strategy by promoting heavy industry to build domestic manufacturing capability. The establishment of the national car company Proton in 1983, although still controversial in terms of economic efficiency, played an important role in developing supporting industries and training technical human resources. Thanks to these shifts, the industrial share of GDP rose from about 13% in 1970 to nearly 25% by the mid-1980s, while manufactured goods accounted for more than 50% of export earnings by the end of this period. Overall, during 1990, Malaysia maintained an average GDP growth rate of 7% per year, raising GDP per capita from about $400 to more than $2,400. More importantly, this period produced a shift in development thinking as Malaysia gradually moved away from the role of a dependent agricultural economy and nurtured the ambition to become a newly industrialized country and a potential Asian tiger in the region. The 1997 Asian financial crisis marked an important turning point in Malaysia's development trajectory, not only because of immediate economic losses, but also because of long-lasting institutional consequences. Before the crisis, the ringgit remained relatively stable around 2.5 Malaysian ringgit per US dollar, but the reversal of short-term capital flows pushed the exchange rate down to a trough of about 4.70 Malaysian ringgit per US dollar in early 1998. In that context, Malaysia chose a path different from many regional economies by refusing an IMF rescue package and imposing capital controls while pegging the exchange rate at 3.80 Malaysian ringgit per US dollar from September 1998. This approach stabilized the financial system in the short term and limited the spread of the crisis, but it also increased perceptions of policy risk in the long term, making Malaysia's investment environment less attractive for strategic long-term capital. However, the deeper impact of the 1997 crisis did not lie in the financial shock alone, but in Malaysia's failure to use the post-crisis period to restructure its growth model. While South Korea and Taiwan treated the crisis as an opportunity to scale up investment in research and development, raising R&D spending to above 3 to 4% of GDP, Malaysia maintained investment at around 1% of GDP and continued to rely heavily on foreign direct investment and low-cost labor advantages. This difference reflected not only corporate capability, but also the state's strategic choice to prioritize short-term stability and growth over long-term technological innovation. Institutional and governance weaknesses became even more visible in the following decade, especially through the One Malaysia Development Berhad scandal, which was exposed during 2014-2018. The estimated loss of about 4.5 billion USD not only severely damaged national credibility, but also left a prolonged fiscal burden. Together with additional shocks, such as the COVID-19 pandemic, Malaysia's public debt rose to about 68% of GDP in 2023-2024, significantly narrowing the government's policy space. In that context, prolonged political instability with 5 prime ministers within 6 years during 2018-2023 further weakened consistency in economic management, placing Malaysia at risk of being overtaken by emerging economies such as Vietnam or Indonesia in the competition to attract higher quality capital flows. Malaysia's rise in the current cycle is not the result of a sudden leap, but is built on more than half a century of industrial accumulation, especially in Penang, since 1972. For a long time, Malaysia played a central role in downstream segments of the global semiconductor industry, particularly packaging and testing, thereby forming a stable manufacturing ecosystem and a large technical workforce. Holding about 13% of the global OSAT market is both a strategic advantage and a constraint, as value added remains largely located outside the national territory. Recognizing this bottleneck, the Malaysian government announced the National Semiconductor Strategy in May 2024, marking an effort to reposition within the global value chain. The focus of the strategy lies not only in the target of attracting about 100 billion USD in FDI over the medium and long term, but more importantly in the commitment to invest 5.3 billion USD to train 60,000 high-quality engineers in order to progressively move into higher knowledge intensity segments such as integrated circuit design and semiconductor materials. Intel's continued expansion of investment of about 7 billion USD, together with Infineon's silicon carbide project worth 5 to 5.5 billion USD in Kulim, indicates that Malaysia is increasingly viewed as an important anchor in the restructuring of the global semiconductor supply chain. Alongside semiconductors, Malaysia is strongly pushing digital infrastructure as a new pillar of growth. The development of Tun Razak Exchange as a financial center with a total value of about 9 billion USD is intended not only to attract international financial institutions, but also to channel capital into high technology industries. More notably, the agreement to establish the Johor Singapore Special Economic Zone in early 2024 opened a new connectivity space in which Singapore's financial and design capabilities are combined with Malaysia's land availability, energy resources, and large-scale implementation capacity. In that context, the wave of investment into data centers and AI has proceeded at a relatively fast pace, with participation by corporations such as Nvidia, Microsoft, and Google, each project ranging from 2 to more than 4 billion USD. With advantages in energy cost, competitiveness, and stable infrastructure, Malaysia is gradually emerging as an important data transit and AI processing node in Southeast Asia, complementing its traditional role in hardware production. A factor no less important in Malaysia's rise is the effort to improve governance and restore confidence after earlier institutional shocks. Under the leadership of Anwar Ibrahim, the Madani economic framework has been implemented with a focus on integrity, transparency, and labor productivity enhancement. These reforms have begun to produce positive shifts, as reflected in Malaysia's Corruption Perceptions Index score, 50 out of 100 in 2024, the highest among developing ASEAN economies. In terms of living standards, although Malaysia's nominal GDP per capita is only about $12,000 to $13,000, its purchasing power parity income has approached $33,000 to $35,000, reflecting a relatively high quality of life in the region. More importantly, institutional improvements are helping Malaysia gradually restore its image as a stable investment destination, especially in sectors that require strong legal protection and intellectual property safeguards. The final pillar in Malaysia's development strategy lies in its ability to flexibly apply its external positioning in an increasingly polarized geopolitical environment. As ASEAN chair in 2025, Malaysia has an opportunity to advance integration initiatives, particularly in the digital economy. At the same time, the country effectively leverages its central role in the global halal economy with exports of about 15 billion USD to expand connections with the Middle East. The combination of technology relations with the West, production relations with China, and financial linkages with the Islamic world gives Malaysia a relatively rare multipolar bridge position in the region. If it can maintain policy stability and domestic institutional reforms, this advantage could become an important lever for Malaysia to strengthen its strategic economic role in Asia in the coming years. Malaysia's transformation from a backward agricultural raw materials storehouse to the most strategic economy in Asia demonstrates the power of persistence and timely vision. Malaysia now not only holds vital physical infrastructure, such as the strategic Strait of Malacca, the impressive TRX Financial Center, and the promising JSSEZ, but also commands the digital operating system of the future. This includes leadership in the semiconductor supply chain, the surge of AI data infrastructure, and a dominant position in global halal economic standards. Malaysia in 2026 has officially entered the ranks of economies with global influence, a country that not only operates under the rules of the game, but is also beginning to shape new rules for the region and the world. Thank you for watching to the end of this video. If you found this analysis useful, please subscribe, share, and leave a comment so more people can understand the silent crisis shaping our future.